Today, I'm going to share the practice of loving, protecting, and accepting your past selves. Just as you are. Just like Angel's wearing the shirt that says, I'm enough, right? It's that concept that you embody that. And then I'm going to add how we can leverage abundance to aid in that practice. No, don't be sorry. We need the pause. All right. So I was first introduced to the practice of loving your past self on a flight to Cancun. There was a gal next to me. So when it comes to spiritual stuff, I don't just talk to everyone, but it was pretty clear she had a spiritual book, so it made it really easy to, start the conversation. And then she shared this practice where she has photos of herself at different ages. And she's been working through issues at each of those ages, sending love, healing, acceptance, and protection back to each one of those moments in working through that. And then, from there, I've learned that, I have other friends that, practice that kind of very similar approach. And so it's something that I want us to practice today. Because it's this place of going back and acknowledging yourself and seeing yourself, that you're perfect just as you are. That in that moment, you were doing the best that you could do in that moment. And to honor yourself back in that moment again. And so I was deeply moved on how, she shared her struggles that she had through life. And like one thing that I remember is at the end, when she was getting up to leave, she had this beautiful dragon tattoo on her shoulder. And if anyone knows me, I always ask people about their stories on tattoos, right? It was there for strength and remembrance. And so she just built it right into her life. And then it actually comes back to this church and why it's so special to me. Is part of this is really based on all the conversations that each of you have shared. Like, you've talked about these deep, intimate details like we're the best of friends. And in a way, we really are. And you've shared your struggles with me and others here. And I'm honored to kind of build upon all of that healing and transmutation that each of you have done to infuse it back to yourself. When you've struggled in the past, be it like you felt like someone wounded you, they betrayed you, they hurt you, right? It holds this energy and it's still there, right? And we can still feel it because it'll come up every once in a while. And there's a beauty in when it comes up. Because when it comes up again, and I know I did this a lot, is I would just push it away, right? And I was at another healing conference, I think this was in Florida, and one of the gals shared a different perspective, is that when it comes up, it means you're ready to deal with it now. That you're now, be it a higher vibration or whatever words you like, just simply you're ready to look at it differently from this standpoint. And I guess I'll put Ren on the spot. She shared some amazing things about generational trauma. And there's this beauty of going back to healing yourself. It's you standing up for everyone in your family and taking something that was put in shadows and shining a light on it and saying, you know what, it stops with me, even if it's hard. And this practice of doing this allows you to work through that and going back into this moment and all these moments in your life where you probably felt scared, you felt hurt, you felt alone. But with this practice, you see that there's always been someone there with you, and that someone is you. All right. A little soapbox here. Many of you have shared with me, be it when you're 5, 3, 7 years old, you all have these beautiful, unique abilities. And in a certain moment, someone else was uncomfortable with your abilities. And that abilities could be spiritual, intellectual, musical, you name it, right? All of you have these astounding abilities. And out of their discomfort, or maybe even sometimes the lack of knowing of how to handle that situation, or the lack of skills to help guide you in that moment, they said something that encouraged you to kind of protect it and take those abilities and lock them up and put them in a box. And I know from many of you, you've locked that like for years, you know, and you're starting to open it up again. And sometimes it wasn't even someone else. Sometimes it could have been just the fear of the unknown. Like you see an entity in the corner of the room and you pray and you say, stop, I don't want to see it, I'm not ready for it. And you put it in a box again, right? Because you just might not have had people around you to guide you in those moments, to help you in those moments of exploring your abilities in a way that you can welcome them in at a place that you're ready for. So what I'd like to do now is a little guided meditation to practice this. All right. So go ahead and take a couple of deep breaths, whatever works for you to relax yourself. And I will try to channel my inner Dan and speaking slowly. All right, go ahead and close your eyes. Now imagine you're sitting in a magical time chair. This chair allows you to go back to any moment in time in your lifetime. So as you pause now, just allow a moment that wants to be healed to come in to your thoughts. All right. Now I want you, and maybe you don't visualize it or you just sense it, but I want you to tell that version of yourself that they are loved just as they are. And then I want you to look into your own chest and see the spark of divinity that is always with you. Expand that spark into a bubble that protects both of you in this moment. Now that you're safe, acknowledge the pain or the hurt or the trauma, but do it from a place of where you are now. See it new. And as you acknowledge it, you see that it's transmuting, it's transforming, it's lightening up. Into something that's now there for your highest good. Now reassure yourself by maybe placing your hand on your shoulder, or holding your hand, or simply giving yourself a hug. Remind yourself that you are always and have always been there for yourself. And if you take a moment to look around, you will see that there is an infinite number of other versions of yourself that have joined you to come back to help in the healing of this moment for you. To add and ask for additional help, go ahead and call in, be it your guides, higher self, God, angels, ancestors. Ask all of them to join you in this moment, this transformative moment of seeing this moment differently. Now, before we return back, give yourself one last hug. And really sit just in this moment, knowing that in every moment in your lifetime that you've struggled, you yourself have always been there for you, loving you just as you are, honoring you just as you are. Thank your guides, helpers, and slowly come back to your chair. Wiggle your fingers, your toes, and feel yourself back in, and open up your eyes when you're ready. For me, it is so humbling to think that there is this version or versions of me sending love to me, even in this moment, holding strength for me and helping me. And that goes back to all the moments in my life, even the ones that I really struggled with. And to know that in addition to my guides and everyone else, that I've always been there for myself, and I've loved myself unconditionally. There's ways to integrate this practice into your life. You can do like the gal on the plane and have an altar of photos of yourself and moments of yourself that you want to work through. Another one, which a friend of mine, Thea, does, is in moments that you're triggered. Find similar moments back in your life that are similar triggers because now it's at a place that you're ready, and you can send love back to all those other times that you've been triggered similarly. Doesn't all have to be the heavy stuff. It can be special moments that you were celebrating, be it birthdays, promotions, anniversaries. You can infuse love into those moments too. And it can be other times where there's critical moments. So I recently had eyelid surgery. And when I was waiting, I went back to all the other moments that I've had surgery and sent love and healing in each of those moments. All right. I don't think Charles is here today. But one of the practices that... Where? Wow, Charles! You're usually over here! All right. So, credit to Charles. Wow. Okay. So, one of the practices that Charles has helped me with is taking and spending dedicated moments of time to open up to the universe. It's a beautiful practice. And during that time, I will often invite my ancestors in and the ancestors of my friends to offer healing, unconditional love. There are many times that the ancestors will come in, they'll say, no thanks, we're here to help you. And so then I go to a place of receiving. And each time, so I talk about Jorge a lot. It's one of my mentors from Ecuador. I've been blessed with mentors from all around the world. I'm super grateful for that. But each time that I'd tell like this story, Jorge would nudge me and say, when you heal yourself, you heal those that you're connected to. Okay. And, right? And this is where it's, I don't know, for me, this is where it connects to some of those really difficult spiritual practices when they say, so within, so without. But when you come right to here, and I can say I've personally seen this, is that as I focus on self-healing, right, I've started to notice things blossom around me with those that that I know. Is like my dad's ability started to blossom. My oldest daughter, Angel, she started getting visions, right? And just like the level of communication between us was at a much higher level. And then there was something that, and it just happened last week, is as I see these ripples across, it goes the other way, and it wasn't where I went. And Jorge goes, as he said, when I heal, you also heal, because we're deeply connected. And so there's this unique place where as you heal and those that you're connected to heal, you just go to this point of infinity, right? There's this infinite healing. And it just surprises you how everything around you changes. Yeah. All right, watching time. All right, so I'm going to go into one of those, Steve talks about energy things, kind of high technical right here, so I'll give you a warning to prepare. Okay. Healing is this 5-dimensional journey, which is this place where you're connected to all that is through the dimensions of mind, spirit, and soul. And through my experiments with water, I've seen through healing is that time doesn't exist, right? You can impact something. And so when you heal in this moment, you can connect to your younger self, and it just ripples all the way across, because at that moment that your younger self is healing, you're also healing yourself. And so the fabric of time and space just melts when we're doing healing. All right. So everything I've shared up until this point, I want to remind you that all of this healing, because I'm going to switch a little bit into abundance, but all of this healing can be done just as you are right now, right? You are perfect. You are loved just as you are. And so you don't have to go into a state of abundance to send this healing, I just find maybe there's a higher flow of energy when I do it. All right. So to plant a seed of abundance, I want to talk about a couple things that I talked to the AI robots to capture. And so when you approach healing from a place of abundance, you acknowledge that you are already whole at your core. Healing becomes a process of reconnecting with your true self rather than fixing something that is fundamentally broken. When you heal from abundance, you affirm your worthiness. Just like Angel's shirt, I'm enough. Of health, joy, and fulfillment. This empowerment stems from recognizing that each of you deserve all good things. Not because of external factors, because of your inherent value of being a spiritual being. Approaching healing in abundance empowers you to be a co-creator of your reality. Instead of feeling like a victim of the circumstances or believing that you lack the resources to heal, you recognize that you have the inner strength, wisdom, and spiritual support to overcome those challenges. Abundance is often linked to gratitude, and when you heal from a place of abundance, you naturally cultivate gratitude for what is already present in your life. Just like this church, it's already present in our life. It's a beautiful, beautiful, amazing place. And this gratitude becomes a powerful catalyst for healing. All right. So I want to do a couple of visualizations. So when I was doing this, it reminded me, like I got a vision of a way to show gratitude. And I was blessed to take a couple of trips to Japan. And there's this thing called Masu Zaki. And what it symbolizes in the Japan culture is the act of allowing, here they say sake, but it can be anything, overflowing symbolizes abundance and prosperity. And the host desire to give more than what is expected. It was the coolest thing. All right, so I have some water, or maybe it is sake, who knows? All right. And how it works is they give you a glass, but they have this wood container. And what they do, the host, when they pour, right? US, we'd probably stop about here, right? But what they do is they pour over, showing you that abundance. This is the place where we want to send healing from, that we always have this internal flow of love and light always pouring out of us, and we can share that abundance. We don't have to share from what's inside of our cup. There's always so much for us to share with others. All right. Okay, watching time. A couple other examples of this that my mentor Jorge was talking about is setting or creating a set point for you, because there's this flow of energy. So his example was on shirts. So maybe he owns 15 shirts, all right? And so there's his 15 shirts. When he gets a new shirt, he gives it away. So he always keeps the 15 shirts. And I was like, I always ask questions of like, what if I want 100 shirts? And he says, that's okay. Just set your intention of what your set point is, so you know, right? you always allow, because when you set that that point, maybe this is 100 shirts. Once I get to 100 shirts, then I give them away. So that energy continues to flow. You choose your unique set point of abundance, right? Where you feel comfortable, and then you allow the rest of the energy to flow. All right. So next up, let's consider, okay, imagine for a moment, I'm back to that energy thing again. All money is just a representation of energy. Okay. With that, let's say you're considering to purchase either like food or a car. I want you to think of it, and I'll plant it as a seed of something to try differently. With this, what I want you to do now is imagine that you have that money with you right now as energy, okay? And to help with this, I also want you to embody this moment of like abundance, okay? In that, I know for a lot of us, there's a struggle with money, that we've had it in places where there's lack, and we've embodied that. So if you reach beneath each of your chairs, you shall find a $5 bill and a $2 bill. All right? And just feel that abundance. Take a little moment, hold it, and feel that abundance. It's real, Charles. It's all real. Okay. All right. Okay, so now put this money between your hands. Oh, does everyone have it? Or does... I think. All right. Anyone else still need help getting your money? Brian, can you help? Everyone close their eyes while Brian helps. All right. All right. Okay. And this is actually another thing. I want to plant a seed that when you put money into the offering basket, think of this moment, okay? So feel into this money. And if you feel any lack in this money, simply transmute it. Now, find a moment where you remember where you had money, where it was fun, it was playful, and you felt in a place of abundance. And if you don't have any of those, just remember this moment. And as you bless this money, there's a magical thing that happens. It is now this energy is blessed. And if you exchange this energy for, be it a car or a sandwich, that sandwich is now blessed. That car is now blessed. And as you consume or drive in that car or eat that sandwich, you've become blessed. And there's this saying, what you bless blesses you. Now we can see that coming back. There's a cool story about the $2 bill. I was getting the fives and the teller was like, oh, have you thought of $2 bills? And I was like, that's really cool. Give me those too. And so maybe keep this, your choice, as a remembrance of abundance. Okay? And then this, you can share with someone else. Whatever you want, right? This is yours to flow through with, but it's blessed. And whatever you invest in it will be blessed back to you. So, I'm gonna close there. Just take those seeds and try to practice them. Right? Practice that going back and healing yourself, and practice that going into abundance, and allowing abundance and blessing to bless you back, and not only heal you, but heal everyone that you're deeply connected to. Thank you very much.